Hey friend, this is episode number 518 of the And So podcast with Taylor Bradford. Let's get to it. Boss Girl Creative presents And So with Taylor Bradford, business and life musings from a successful serial entrepreneur. Each week, you will hear Taylor spill the tea on all things business, life, relationships, health, and everything in between. But don't worry, each week also includes a business nugget that will help you stay on course. And now a throwback to 3-year-old Taylor who inspired all of this.
And so, what is it?
Hello, welcome to episode 518. I'm your host, Taylor Bradford. Thank you so much for being here. Listen, oh my gosh, I will be so grateful when the busy season of roofing has come to like a slowdown. I have been working almost like 6 days a week until anywhere from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. every night. And I'm like, it is really hard to recharge your batteries after doing that. And it's not so much that I am like pedal to the metal every hour of every day for, 6 days a week, but because there's still a lot of things that I'm managing within that day or within that week or whatever. But when I get back to like, I do my best work in the evening time because nobody's bothering me and I can really knock things out. But then you're like on the tail end of your day and you just exhausted yourself with, managing humans and running errands and like dealing with, whatever. Like I had a gentleman call yesterday and I thought he sounded really pissed off. He was like, I just saw one of your trucks and I'd like to speak to that person. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, where are you located? And he told me. I was like, okay, that is so-and-so. I will reach out to him and have him give you a call. And I called the PM that was in the truck and I was like, hey, please call this man. I really hope he's not pissed off. He sounds pissed off. I don't know what you might have done, but will you smooth things over? No, the man just wanted him to stop by and give him a roof inspection. But he just sounded so, like, upset. And I was like, oh, great. Things you have to think about when you have logos on your vehicles. It's wild. So let's dive into this week's topics. First up, books. I finished She's Not Sorry, which is kind of like a thriller, 3 stars. And I also finished Just for the Summer. I gave that one 4 stars. That was Abby Jimenez. And then I'm still reading The Hitman and the Psychic. That's a tangible read. And then I'm listening to The Thursday Murder Club. And I'm enjoying both of them, but I'm still in that season where I cannot get through tangible books very quickly, which I'm just going to take as it being a season for that. In the garden, oh my gosh. I have every seedling planted now, which is so like joyous, but also a huge weight lifted because I didn't think I was going to be able to keep them alive any longer in my shop. They were way beyond when they should have been planted out, but I will know for next time what my capacity is. And so every seedling is planted. I have lots of tomatoes growing right now. I have okra starting. I just harvested my first banana pepper. I saw my first cucumber growing. And it's so amazing to watch things come to life. I think in the next 4 to 6 weeks, I will be harvesting the garlic, which I planted in October. And then I'm not 100% certain when I am supposed to harvest onions, but here's what's interesting. There's so much conflicting information in the world of gardening and different ways to garden and different types of gardening. And I planted a whole row, actually it's a row and then half a row of sunflowers. I went with Double Quick Orange, which is a beautiful sunflower, and then the teddy bear sunflower, which is also a really beautiful sunflower. I wasn't necessarily growing them to have as part of my cut flower garden. I just wanted to see what they looked like. And they are stunning, and the bees have found them and they are very happy. And so I have those growing. Well, I read online somewhere that I could plant my onions next to my sunflowers. And then I saw somebody on Instagram a couple of days ago saying this is why her onion production was so bad. She planted too close to her sunflowers. And I'm like, but is it sunflower variety? Because my onions seem to be doing well, but also I've never been really good. This is the second time I've grown onions, and I've never been good at getting them to bulb. I don't know that they're actually bulbing. Honestly, I don't know. I've heard that you can't use starts. You actually have to grow from seed. I did with the onion slips or the starts. And so we'll see, but they seem to be thriving, but they may not be focused on the bulb itself, which I'll have to figure out for the next time around. And maybe I don't plant them next to my sunflowers and see what happens. It's all an experiment. It's all an experiment. My 5-day email challenge is finished. It's not yet ready for you to have it, but it is so close. Like, I am just stuck in the weeds with the logistics, but it is a really good challenge that will help you create your freebie funnel. And it walks you through, it's 5 days only. If you want to have all 5 days show up in your inbox, you can do that for a small fee. But it actually gives you the data on how I built, like my real life example on how I built the Sugar Rush freebie library. And I've gotten some really good feedback from hearing you guys talk about like how you may use the freebie library in your own brands and businesses. And I love that because I was trying to figure out like, how do I create a hub without having a bajillion funnels? And yeah, so I've been writing blog posts for the House of Sugar Creek as well. And my most recent one was called Dear Meadow May. And I even asked ChatGPT, should I still call it that? Like, why would a reader show up and be like, who's Meadow May? And so we kind of went back and forth, me and the robot, talking about the title for the blog post. And ultimately, I did leave it alone. Dear Meadow May, start before you're ready. Because ultimately, the readers that I want long-term of the brand, the House of Sugar Creek, I want to create a community of Meadow Mays. And Meadow May is just the name that I gave to my ideal reader, my ideal community member. And I wanted to be able to be like, I'm writing this for you. I'm writing this for you because I'm walking this journey right alongside you. I may have not done everything that you've already explored in your life, but I will get there eventually. And here's my own journey. So my 5-day email challenge is so freaking close. I'm hoping next podcast I will be able to say, here's how you can go get the 5-day email challenge to help you build your freebie funnel and what you can do from that. I think I mentioned this last week, I switched from MailChimp to Flowdesk. Now, the crappy part about Flowdesk, and it's really the only crappy part. Actually, there might be two things that I'm kind of hung up on with Flowdesk, but most everything else is a super positive. The two hangups that I have with Flowdesk are that you have to have 2 separate accounts for 2 different brands. With MailChimp, I could have multiple brands and multiple URLs and multiple emails attached within my MailChimp account. Now, that could be a legacy thing. I'm not 100%, but I went and paused my MailChimp so that I didn't lose out on my legacy account that I have with MailChimp since I've had them for so long. So that's on pause and I won't be billed and I can't send any emails out, but it doesn't lose my data. Now, with Flowdesk, I had to have 2 accounts, and I was trying to think, okay, this is what I was paying for MailChimp, which was about $32 a month with tax. And Flowdesk, once you go through their 14-day free trial, theirs is $38 plus tax. So it's like $40 per brand. Now that plan doesn't get the shopping cart ability. Like you have to upgrade your plan to have access to that. And with Boss Girl Creative and this podcast, I will be doing that because the 5-day email challenge can be purchased. And then also there's an order bump to get my full ChatGPT transcript of me working through getting all of this stuff figured out for the Sugar Rush freebie library, who Meadow May is, and all of that. And it will be what I just said is as an order bump. So you will be able to purchase that when you're checking out if you want to just have the 5 days immediately sent to you. And so I needed a shopping cart, and I didn't want to have another tool that handled the shopping cart. Like you could probably do that with like Lead Pages and Samcart and or Thrivecart. There's like so many tools that could be totally overwhelming. So I appreciate that Flowdesk has a shopping cart built in. You just connect your Stripe account in order to accept payment and all of that. So TBD. I'm hoping next episode I will be like, it's ready. Because that's really all I'm trying to figure out is the graphics that go into the shopping cart and, like just getting the logistics figured out and making sure everything is like functioning properly. Because also the freebie funnel is running as a drop every single day. But if you choose to click a link to buy it, I don't want it to keep dropping to you because you're going to buy it. So I need you to exit out of that funnel. So there's a lot to doing that, but it is figure outable. It is doable. It just, when you're not in the brain space to do it, you kind of have to hit pause until you can get back there. So I'm so close, 98% complete, 2% left. And fingers crossed that I find that time and that brain space to get it finished so that I can officially release it to the world. So, yeah. Okay, let's dive into stats. And then this week's nugget is all about managing social media. And I'm doing so with Trello. And so we're going to talk about that. But real quick, let's get a compounding social media interest update. So if you haven't been listening or you're new to the show or you have been listening, here is the recap. So I started tracking my YouTube, my TikTok, and my Instagram back on January 27th. And I have been publishing one short form video every day on those 3 platforms and then 2 long form pieces of content to my YouTube channel every week as well. And so this is what I consider compounding your social media interest and getting eyeballs on your content. I also am doing trial reels when I remember. I wish I was better at that, but I only have so much brain space to do things. And one thing I did learn with managing my social media with Trello is that I do not have the capacity to manage my Pinterest at the moment. So I am looking for somebody that does Pinterest management. If that is you or you know somebody, I would love to hear from you because that is the ball that I am dropping that I cannot consistently do, and I need help with that. So here are the stats. As a reminder, on January 27th, I had 234 subscribers on YouTube. Last week, I was at 432. This week, I'm at 440. Slow growth there, but I feel like last week's content was not all that inspired. And I feel like the educational content does a lot better across all of the channels. And I was really doing more like garden tours, which is not as like strong content-wise. With TikTok, I started at 139 followers. Last week, I was at 801. This week, I'm at 834. And I saw the movement happen because of the TikTok I posted yesterday. So I felt, again, this whole last week, I was not producing inspired content that inspired follows and likes and shares and all of that. So that is the numbers. I have 1386 likes on TikTok when I started tracking. I'm at 96 likes now. Over on Instagram, I started at 3470 on January 27th. Last week, I was at 3550. I've lost a follower on Instagram. I'm at 3549. And yeah, Instagram is still going to be the bane of my existence. So that's the stats. There is still growth. I realized last week I didn't do as much educational content that I could have done, but last week was nutty with letting go of my assistant and, I'm just in the thick of things and trying to figure out what my next steps are. And ultimately I've decided that I will not be bringing on a new assistant. I am just hiring somebody to come in and clean my warehouse and help me keep it organized. And I will use my delivery crew on my events. And that's what we're going to do, which means more weight on my shoulders for my social media, which is why we're talking about managing social media this week as for this week's nugget. So let's get into that. Of course, I started with ChatGPT because I'm so overwhelmed with what I need to do day to day, and I need a plan, and I need something that keeps me focused on the things that I have to do day to day. So I went to ChatGPT and I said, I need help. Help me. I need a plan for the House of Sugar Creek and Boss Girl Creative and also Sugar Creek Event Rentals. And so we worked through how to do that, and then it was like, hey, I can do this in Trello cards for you. Now, it's not necessarily making your Trello cards. It will go out and help you find a template to use with Trello, but ultimately, I still had to build it out, which, at some point in the future, I would love to see AI be a little bit more useful in the term of, hey, I've given you this suggestion, but you still have to go do the work. I would love to see it have the capacity to do some of that, to have more relationships with some of the things that it says. And so like I mentioned, I went to ChatGPT and I said, feeling super overwhelmed. I need a daily content marketing plan for Sugar Creek Event Rentals. And then I put SCER in parentheses, the House of Sugar Creek in parentheses, THOSC, and Boss Girl Creative in parentheses, BGC. Here's my publishing schedule for all three brands combined. On Monday, I have a YouTube video for THOSC, a short form video for Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube for the House of Sugar Creek, a reel for Sugar Creek Event Rentals, a carousel post for Boss Girl Creative. On Tuesday, I have a blog post with the House of Sugar Creek. I have short form video for Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube for the House of Sugar Creek. On Wednesday, I have a podcast episode. I have short form video for Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube for the House of Sugar Creek. I have a carousel post for Sugar Creek Event Rentals. I have a carousel post for Boss Girl Creative. On Thursday, I have a YouTube video for the House of Sugar Creek, a short form video for Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube for the House of Sugar Creek. On Friday, I have a blog post for the House of Sugar Creek, a short form video for Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube for the House of Sugar Creek, a reel for Sugar Creek Event Rentals, and a carousel post for Boss Girl Creative. This does not also include the story content that I also need to maintain for all three brands. So yes, you can see how overwhelmed this could be for any one human. And this is what it replied. Phew. That is a lot, but the good news, you already have a consistent publishing rhythm. But it didn't know that though. Let's bring some calm to the chaos by giving you a daily content marketing plan that helps streamline your creative energy and ensures nothing falls through the cracks. Here's a clear, repeatable framework, Monday through Friday, that aligns with your schedule, but also gives you mental space to create and repurpose content effectively. So it basically took what I just said and put it into a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday format, and with the goal of maximizing visibility across platforms, front load the week with high impact video content, educational, inspirational thought leadership. So this is what it came up with. So it came up with a plan for every single day. And then it gave me a bonus of weekly workflow tips. And then would you like this exported into a spreadsheet or a Notion style tracker for easy use? Yes, this is a lot for one human. You're running 3 fully fledged brands, each with their own strategy and voice, and maintaining a high frequency publishing schedule across multiple platforms daily. The overwhelm is 100% valid. Let's fix this for you. So give you a core daily focus per brand, a story framework, 6 to 10 slides a day, and weekly themes for batching. So it did that. It gave me a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday schedule as part 1. And so part 1 was daily brand focus, keep it clean and compartmentalized. And then part 2 is 6 to 10 story frameworks per brand every day. And it did that in the eyes of, okay, here is what we can do for Tuesday. Here's what we can do for Wednesday. Here's what we can do for Thursday, etc. So I am able to go into Trello. So I went into Trello and I gave it these specific boards. If you are interested in using Trello as well, you totally don't have to do that, but I have a column for content ideas, a column for this week's schedule, a column for in progress, a column for ready to publish, a column for publish, and a column for templates. And then the sample cards are like Monday content, Tuesday content, Wednesday content, Thursday content, Friday content, etc. And then it gave me like the emojis that you can use to help you stay like, this is what this particular card is for, etc. And so I went in and basically built out my Trello board so that I have what I need to do on Monday, what I need to do on Tuesday, and I put it in a checklist. And then I turned on the power up so that it refreshes every Monday. Now, I haven't really figured out how to make last Mondays go away. So I need to see if there's a power up that says, like, make that other one go away if you're not going to just restart the card. Because what's happening is when I get to the next Monday, then I have a new card that shows up that's ready to go, but the other Monday is still sitting in like where it was. And I don't want that many cards in the column. Like I only want to see Monday through Friday. And this is helping. Now, it's still a lot for one human, but what I appreciate is that I have direction for each brand, especially for stories. Like I know what my content schedule is Monday through Friday. I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but it's sitting down and being like, okay, how do I be intentional with today's stories? And then having that framework where I can sit down and it's prompting me, this is the kind of story you need to post. Like this is what it needs to feel like or be. And so here are some examples of what it gave me for story content, just to give you an idea. For Sugar Creek Event Rentals, it gave me 6 options for stories because my goal is 6 to 10 stories a day. Well, really just Monday through Friday, but here are the 6 story ideas or template or framework, if you will, for Sugar Creek Event Rentals. Number 1, today's vibe, mood board, or on-location shot. Number 2, behind the scenes of cleaning, loading, or prepping rentals. Number 3, lounge install moment or warehouse detail. Number 4, vendor or styled shoot flashback. Number 5, this or that poll with furniture pieces. Number 6, a real teaser or transformation clip. So it's giving me like, okay, now I can go into my own archives, my own like Dropbox of all of our content, and I can pull out what makes sense in that moment for one of these stories. And I can tell you what a load off my shoulders having that framework specifically for each brand or every brand. And it's allowing me to keep moving forward. Now, as I mentioned, I am needing help with Pinterest. I do not have the capacity to do that because doing all of this, sitting down and creating 6 story slides for each brand, that's 18 story slides every day, plus the content that I'm producing, like it is a lot for one person. And especially like when you're like, I don't know when I'm going to do this, or like it just takes away from the other things that you're having to do day in and day out. So It is taking me time to get through the checklist for each brand, but I have the checklist. I just have to find the time to hit pause on what I am doing and to get it out there. Because the 6 stories, they don't have to be dripped through the day. Would that be ideal? Absolutely. But I don't have time for that. And this is the best I can do right now in this moment in my life, being really busy with roofing. And I'm just grateful that I have a framework to follow because it is keeping my brand moving forward, keeping all 3 brands moving forward outside of that daily short form video that I am publishing for the House of Sugar Creek on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram and now Facebook every single day. Like, I was not doing story content whatsoever. I was hit or miss with Boss Girl Creatives, like posting. And now I have a framework to follow and I've got a robot helping me and it's a beautiful thing. So if you are also feeling overwhelmed, ChatGPT can really, well, any of the AIs, but I'm using ChatGPT. I do pay for the premium, so I don't know if this can help you if you're not in the premium of ChatGPT, but let it help do some of that heavy lifting for you if you need it. And I need it in this moment, and I'm grateful to have a framework now in place where all I have to do is log into my Trello board and see what I have to do for that day and check it off. And I did just see ChatGPT as I was rolling through, getting to what my story prompt examples are. I saw it say there is a butler power up that I can turn on that will like basically make the card go away. So once I've checked marked everything. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be finding that power up, that butler one. And so I just solved my own thing. Thank you, ChatGPT. Okay, friends, that's what I've got for you. I'd love to hear, do you use Trello? Are you using ChatGPT? Are you allowing these tools to help you do some of the heavy lifting of your day-to-day? I'd love to know. And if you're interested, I would be willing to put this into some kind of content so that you could see what my prompts are. I actually think I would like to do some kind of like, here are my ChatGPT prompts. I have to figure out how to keep that updated without like having to constantly send it back out. But maybe it goes into my weekly newsletter at the bottom. Like, hey, here are the prompts that I gave ChatGPT last week. That actually might be a good idea. So anyways, okay, I'm just like spitballing on the fly. I'm going to write myself a note because I also need to bring back the Boss Girl Creative newsletter, and that would be beneficial if you guys had access to what I'm asking ChatGPT every day. Okay, friends, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. Until next time. And I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for listening.
Let's go.
And like my 3-year-old self said, that is all for this week. Friendly reminder to rate and review my show wherever you are listening. And last but not least, I'd love to hear from you. Leave me an audio message at bossgirlcreative.com/speak. I would love to hear your takeaways, ideas for upcoming episode topics, and your feedback. Thank you again for listening to this week's episode. And until next time, I hope you have a great rest of this one.